Good morning, everybody. So we're here again for our morning live meditation practice. And if you have been following these, I know that a lot of people have been catching up with these in the day after 8 o'clock, because 8 o'clock's not a great time for some people, especially with families, with the school run and things like that. So if you have been catching up, I hope that you have been finding some comfort in these sessions. I think these sessions are really needed right now. I think that there's a lot of people that are really struggling with anxiety and with stress. And I know certainly from speaking to people that there's a lot of people that are stuck in this cycle of worrying about just worrying about like what might happen in the future, worrying about how the rest of the year is going to look. And I think, for some of us, that's obviously quite debilitating. When we move into this headspace, when we worry about everything that could happen in the future. And I think certainly with the pandemic, there's this huge uncertainty around, and there's a lot of people wondering where we're even going to be in a month's time, 2 months' time, at the end of the year, next year. So what mindfulness helps us to do is it helps us to stay here and to stay present. And reflect on this a little bit more, I had a conversation with somebody that came around to the house. We were involved in like a COVID test study thing. And they said, are you not worried about the impact all this is going to have on your children? And it was like, well, no, because it's not helpful for me to think that far into the future, because I've got no idea. I can't get my crystal ball out and predict what's going to happen. So if I choose to stay here in this moment today, no, I'm not worried about what my children's future is going to be like, because I've got no idea, and it doesn't serve me at all worrying about that. So I'm going to choose instead to be here and enjoy the moment in which we're given. So mindfulness helps us to stay present, and that's where it comes in particularly handy when we are struggling, especially struggling with intrusive thought, worrying about all the things that could happen, because it allows us just to recognize that those are thoughts, and thoughts are not necessarily facts. Yeah, your thoughts are not necessarily facts. And I think when you can understand that and recognize that, it almost sets you free, because you understand that you are not your thoughts. And, you can understand that thoughts are just there. And although distressing, they're just thoughts. And actually, if we learn to kind of be with the body, be with the breath, when those thoughts are troubling us, when we are struggling with thoughts such as, worrying about all the things that could happen in the future and things that could go wrong, if we're just able to be with our breath and notice what's happening in the present moment, those thoughts will pass. And this is where mindfulness has been absolutely transformative with me, with any kind of future anxieties, especially through the loss of my twin brother, especially that, because it was something that used to trouble me, this thought of what will my life look like in 10 years' time? How will my first Christmas be? How will my second birthday be without him? All these different things. And when you learn to recognize that thinking in that way is unhelpful, and it actually just adds to the distress that you're already experiencing, then you can choose to not go there. You can choose to just be with what's here now. And although what's here now might be uncomfortable, it's going to feel a lot worse if I'm piling on all the extra stuff. So our podcast talks a lot about this in, which episode is it? I think it's episode 2. You'll find it on Spotify. It's called Radio Relax. And if you want to find out more about this idea of secondary suffering, as we call it, then do have a listen. So we're going to be doing then today a wonderful guided practice all around stillness this morning. I'm going to be bringing in a little bit of silence as well. I know that these practices are guided, but I do encourage you to try and work with silence as much as possible. And remember, meditation doesn't have to look like the way I'm sitting today. You can choose to sit in meditation any way you feel comfortable. If you can't watch this right now, if you're just kind of watching and you're on the move, then maybe do this meditation later today when you've got a little bit of time. So allowing yourself to get nice and comfortable. If you're feeling really tired today, then I would suggest that you do choose a seated upright posture. And we make sure that we're comfortable in a meditation practice, because when we're not comfortable, this can actually affect our experience of meditation, meaning that instead of actually trying to do what we want to do in the meditation, meaning focus on our breath or take our awareness to our body or just to some stillness, instead what we maybe start doing is focusing on the fact that our leg has gone numb or that our back is aching. So do get yourself into a comfortable position, supporting yourself with cushions if needed, blankets if you're feeling chilly, because meditation can make us feel chilly because we just still for some time. I know that when we deliver live classes, we do provide blankets and cushions so people feel comfortably warm. So I'm going to begin today's practice with a poem. And the poem is called From Out the Cave. So here it goes. When you have been at war with yourself for so many years that you have forgotten why. When you've been driving for hours and only gradually begin to realize that you have lost the way. When you have cut hastily into the fabric. When you have signed papers in distraction. When it has been centuries since you watched the sunset or the rain fall and the clouds drifting overhead pass as flat as anything on a postcard. When in the midst of these everyday nightmares, you understand that you could wake up, you could turn and go back to the last thing you remember doing with your whole heart, that passionate kiss, the brilliant drop of love rolling along the tongue of a green leaf. And then you wake, you stumble from your cave, blinking in the sun, naming every shadow as it slips. So, poetry, when we use it in a meditation practice, can speak many things to many people. So, you may have taken something from that piece of poetry this morning. I'm going to begin by taking some deliberate breaths today. So really filling your belly with air as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, releasing that breath all the way out. Allowing the body to release, to relax. Taking another deep, deliberate breath, filling the belly. Releasing the breath, allowing the shoulders to release, relax, drop down. One last time, deep, deliberate breath. And releasing that breath. And allowing the breath to settle into its normal rhythm. Allowing the body to breathe all by itself. So bringing that awareness now into our body, our physical body. This idea of coming home to our body, when for a lot of us we spend so much time in our mind. So just checking in with the body today. Gently scanning any areas, noticing any areas of tension. Maybe beginning by taking your awareness to your feet today. And gradually and gently scanning all the way up. Noticing the lower legs. Releasing and relaxing any tension here. Releasing the thighs. Noticing any sensations. Just noticing what's happening in the body as you rest here with me today. Gently moving even further up. Noticing the belly. Seeing if you can relax the belly. A lot of us hold tension in this area. Often breathing in our chest area instead of into the belly. So maybe just now mindfully as you breathe, pushing that breath into your belly, allowing the belly to swell with the breath, subside with the out breath. And then breathing normally, taking your awareness to your chest. Noticing movements here as you breathe. Noticing the shoulders. How do the shoulders feel today? Relaxed or tight, tense, achy? With the next out breath, just seeing if you can relax the shoulders a little bit. So as you breathe out, allowing the shoulders to drop down, relax and release. Taking your awareness down your arms, noticing what's there for you today. What sensations are present? Maybe noticing the feel of fabric against your skin, feelings of warmth and coolness. And noticing the hands now. Are there any sensations here in the hands? Maybe tingling, sometimes buzzing or vibrating. Sensations can take on lots of different descriptions for many different people, so just noticing what's there. Remember, this is about coming back to the body. Taking your awareness now to your face. And releasing, relaxing any areas of tension, especially around the forehead and the jaw, around the whole of your face. Allowing your face to relax, releasing any tension. Holding the whole of your body today in stillness. How does it feel to stop? There may be some irritability there. That's okay. The mind might be busy. That's fine. Mindfulness is about being aware of what's happening in the very moment that we're in. Acknowledging, noticing, bringing in kindness and compassion to whatever is there. And if you haven't done already, I want to invite you now to notice the breath. Notice how the body moves with the breath as you breathe. Where do you feel your breath today? Using the breath as an anchor to bring you into this very moment. And you will get carried along in thoughts, with thoughts. You'll be distracted at times. So remember, this is a practice. So mindfulness teaches us just to notice. Notice those thoughts, acknowledging them as just thoughts and allowing them to pass. Returning to that breath over and over again. What's it like to sit in stillness today? What's it like to be with silence? There's so much noise in our life, isn't there? So much noise that we create, so much noise that interrupts our day, and so many different forms of distraction and stress. We can choose to put some time aside every day to do this. Perhaps to cut through the busyness of the day. These small moments of mindfulness, even as you take these small moments out into the world with you, pausing, stopping and breathing, noticing the breath at every opportunity, noticing the breath as you sit in a traffic jam, noticing the breath as you boil the kettle. Taking 2 deeper breaths before you answer a phone call. All these little micro moments can help, as well as a formal practice such as this. So try to build in as many little moments as you can and see how you start to feel. When you have been at war with yourself for so many years that you have forgotten why. When you have been driving for hours and only gradually begin to realize that you have lost your way. When you have cut hastily into the fabric. When you have signed papers in distraction. And when it has been centuries since you watched the sunset or the rainfall and the clouds drifting overhead pass as flat as anything on a postcard. When in the midst of these everyday nightmares you understand that you could wake up, you could turn and go back to the last thing you remember doing with your whole heart. That passionate kiss, that brilliant drop of love rolling along the tongue of a green leaf. Then you wake, you stumble from your cave, blinking in the sun, naming every shadow as it slips. So bringing this practice to a close today. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me this morning. Please do share with your friends and your family. Anyone you feel that it will help. If you haven't done already in your own time, gently opening your eyes. Moving the body in any way you need to today. Maybe just before you rush into the busyness of your day, choose to just sit for maybe another minute or so, just to stay still. This can be really helpful. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow morning for our morning meditation. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you later.